Welcome back to Investing and Trading Live, sponsored by Online Trading Academy. Online Trading Academy is an academy that trains people just like you how to invest, how to trade for income strategies, invest for your longer term wealth, your 401ks, IRAs, making smart investing decisions with them, but also having more confidence going into those retirement years. And we have these investing classes to help people get started, to help you get down that right path, how to start that plan, how to create that plan. Maybe it's that New Year's resolution on your financial future. We have these classes during the week, during the weekends. These are free classes and they're about 2 hours. Weekends in the mornings. We also have them in evenings, so pretty much anybody can attend these investing classes. To get into one of these classes, we have some seats we're giving away some tickets to. You can text the word investing to the number 210 for 2 seats for this class. That's investing to the number 210. You got to do that right now. Or if you're online, you can just go to investwithota.com. That's investwithota.com to receive those seats. You can actually pick your own date in there. It goes right to our landing page. So you can check out investwithota.com to check those seats out. So in that last segment, we were kind of discussing, what is the difference between just buying and hoping, that your accounts do well and
hmm
what you can do a little bit
hmm
differently with those accounts. We're told and trained and conditioned to do certain things. Well, if your accounts aren't showing what you want them to show you, you might want to do things a little bit differently. And you don't always want to focus on what will always go wrong. Start focus on what can go right. So Al, you help a lot of people at the academy here that are looking for different income strategies. A lot of people that come to these investing classes. By the way, congratulations to those that got set up for that class coming up here. We got a lot of classes coming up here, but a lot of people are looking for kind of another income strategy on top of their job.
Yep.
They work during the day or into the evening, whatever that may be, but they don't want to have a second job or go somewhere to have another income strategy, because the great thing about the markets is it's available to anybody, anywhere, as long as you have internet connection, and almost any time.
Right.
And I want to dissect that a little bit because most people only know the stock market. Stock
hmm
market is a great place for an income strategy, but it's tough if you work during the day because the market's only open from, at 6.5 hours a day from the early morning to early afternoon. So if you work during that time, it's difficult to trade at that time. So that being said, what are some of the assets you can use? Because we got the stock market, there's other
hmm
assets available out there, asset classes, I should say. Explain what those are, and let's talk about after that some of the different techniques you can use with those and not even be at your computer to have that income strategy.
Yeah. Well, when we talk about income, there's really two components to your financial life. The income is one. That's where you're accumulating assets. And then also when you reach your later years, you go into retirement, it's kind of that distribution phase. And I think if you don't really understand and utilize the income strategies that are available, it's going to be hard for most people to have enough in their distribution retirement portfolio to live the lifestyle that they really want. And this is a quote I think that's really apropos. It's from Ray Dalio, who started Bridgewater Associates, one of the biggest and most successful hedge funds out there. He said this, quote, "Earn more than you spend. That will give you freedom, safety, and the power to do what you want," unquote. And I think that's one of the reasons that people really should pay more attention to the income strategies, because especially now with inflation, just hitting almost every aspect of our life in ways that we haven't felt for years. In fact, most people listening to the show probably have never really felt the impact of inflation until this year. And then all of a sudden we kind of got blindsided by it. But the income strategies that are available are used by not just us, not just OTA students, but by the big firms. All of the major firms, all of the hedge fund managers, the professional traders use these strategies, which are designed to give you income on a short-term basis. You mentioned stocks being great. Stocks are fantastic, and long-term, it's probably the best investment that there is that's ever been created for the public. But stocks are expensive. We've got some of
Yeah.
these companies that are trading, hundreds of dollars. Uh, we've had stocks like Google and uh, Facebook that have traded, in the thousands of dollars, and a lot of people don't have that kind of money. So these short-term income strategies allow people to participate with a smaller amount of money, but also the to really generate income. And just the definition of income, it's something you need now. It's cash that you need short term, not something that you can wait 20 or 30 years to get. So you need to be able to utilize strategies that you can get into and out of on a short term basis. And that's relative. Some people need to do that or want to do that on a daily basis, some people weekly or monthly. And you can kind of choose how you use these strategies, which strategies you use. And the things we're talking about are like the options market, the Forex market, the foreign exchange market, or the futures market. They all can be used for short-term. Options is a great strategy to use short-term, mid-term, and long-term. You can use these not only for generating cash on a shorter-term basis, but you can also use them to boost returns on your long-term portfolios. Futures and Forex trade 24 hours a day. So if time is an issue for you, it no longer is. You can trade anytime that you want to. And, everybody can carve out a little bit of time every day. Maybe only it takes an hour or so or less than an hour. I mean, you can put together trades once you have a strategy that is going to be appropriate for the asset you're using, and you know how to do it in a way that doesn't require you to sit in front of a computer. That's what we show you in these classes, by the way. That's the worst thing you can do. We have a platform, an analysis platform that you can use that allows you to put together a trade in a matter of minutes. So we really have addressed that time issue with things like futures and Forex. And again, the amount of money that you need, that has drastically changed with the ability for the public to trade these assets. Again, futures, Forex, and options. We go into these in the classes that Josh is talking about. What you'll find is that all of the pros use these. Warren Buffett, who always pushes that long-term stock portfolio strategy, he makes about $8 billion a year trading options. And I think here's one of the mistakes that people make with that long-term portfolio is that they feel that they're protected by being diversified. And if you look at the S&P 500, there's 11 sectors within the S&P 500 that cover pretty much the entire economy. Almost never is one sector going to be the top performer for a full year. In fact, the top performing sector every year typically is not near the top the next year. If you look at in the week of December 6th, the top two sectors in the S&P 500, the first was communication. A week later, that was 10th. Materials was second. A week later, that was 7th. The point I want to make here is that it's not just buying something that incorporates all of those sectors that's going to give you the opportunity to outperform. It's being able to identify which ones are outperforming at a certain time, which ones are underperforming. And you can do that using the strategies that we're talking about. You don't have to buy a stock to participate in the financial markets. You can use these leveraged assets, which are the options, futures, and Forex markets.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, so if you're listening right now and you work during the day, and some people have a job that pays well, some people don't, but even if it does, things are costing more these days. So it's nice to have another income strategy on top of your job. So if you work during the day and you're like, how do I do that? There are markets that are open around the clock. So you can trade anytime. You can trade in the morning, you can trade in the afternoon, you can trade in the evenings. That allows you more choices. So then you're not stuck to just one source of income. If you have two strategies for that, that might help you invest and save for your retirement accounts as well. So you got to think about it two different ways. So if you want to see how those concepts work, see what the futures market is, the Forex market, and the options market, three phenomenal markets that you can use for income strategies. We introduce you to those different assets in these classes. Now, these classes I mentioned earlier, they're about 2 hours long. By the way, they're free. So, I mean, what do you have to lose, right? At least if you have a goal, a goal without a plan is just a wish. So text the word investing to the number 210 for 2 seats for this class. They're about 2 hours during the day. We also have these on the weekends and the evenings, so pretty much anybody can attend. Text the word investing to the number 210-210, or go to investwithota.com, and you can pick your own date right in that landing page. So Al, let's just say somebody loves stocks
Hmm.
and they want to be able to trade them,
Hmm.
and they have enough capital to do that. But the key is, as you mentioned, they're a great asset. As you mentioned, the probably one of the best things that have ever been invented for income. But you have to have the right timing strategy, when to buy and when to sell. If you're listening right now, you may have bought and sold stocks and be like, yeah, every time I buy, it just goes the other way.
Hmm.
Well, it's you just don't have the right strategy. So talk about Online Trading Academy, their core strategy that's designed to follow the institutions and not trade it against them.
The strategy that the Online Trading Academy has, we call it the core strategy, is a timing strategy, and most of you listening have heard at least once in your lifetime that you can't time the market. And who tells you that? Well, either it's people that don't know how to do it, people that don't want you to do it, and those are probably the primary source, I guess, of that statement that you can't time the market. But timing the market simply is following the movement in price that is dictated by or influenced by big institutions. In other words, people that can spend hundreds of millions, maybe billions of dollars on one position. And we're just using the that economic law of supply and demand, and the relationship between the two. If there's more demand for anything, regardless of whether it's in the stock market or if housing or whatever it is, there's more demand for something, price is going to go up. The opposite is true when there's more supply. So in the financial markets, just look at demand as being buyers, and supply as being selling or sellers. But we have to be able to identify when people with enough money to really have an impact on demand and an impact on supply, when they're going to be active. And what we're looking for are unfilled orders from institutions that we know are going to become filled orders at a certain price. We're trying to identify with as close as possible the accuracy, the turning points in price. Turning points in price are almost always, almost 100% of the time, caused by institutions taking a long position or a short position, in other words, buying or selling. And our strategy is designed just to follow what they're doing. The great thing for us is that you don't have to be smart to do this. You just have to be smart enough to follow the people, what we call the smart money, the people that have enough capital to influence the price of something.
Yeah, and really what Al is talking about is how to have the odds in your favor.
Exactly.
Just like anything you do in life, you want to have more odds and probabilities to have that actually happen for you. That's why it's not an exact price. It's a zone. And when you think about it, institutions, they don't buy in, everything at one price. They buy in zones. They call it scaling in or scaling out. So that's what we're identifying at Online Trading Academy. That's a strategy that's designed to follow those guys and not trade against them. So you have these zones where you want to be buying, and these zones where you want to be selling. And that way you're having more odds. And then that's also where you have the lowest risk, highest reward, highest probability entry points, which is at that turn in price, and what Al is talking about. And just like everything in our everyday life, supply and demand is everywhere. If there's more supply for something, price is going to go down. If there's more demand for a particular item, price is going to go up. And that's exactly how the financial markets work. You got to keep it simple, and that way you can make smart investing decisions when you have a plan for that. We have these investing classes local here. So if you're listening to the show, we have a state-of-the-art facility near you. We have a few different classrooms at all of our facilities. And we have these classes to introduce you to some of these concepts that we're talking about here today on the show. So you can text the word investing to the number 210-210 for 2 seats to see how to have an income strategy on top of your job. Text the word investing to the number 210-210. In these classes, you're going to learn about how the markets work, how they function, supply and demand, which is our core strategy that's designed to follow those institutions. You can also go online to investwithota.com. You're probably on your phone right now. Go to investwithota.com. For 2 seats, you can pick your own date for that class. Coming up next, Al, we talked more about income strategies just recently. I want to talk more about those wealth strategies, 401k and IRA strategies coming up next. This is Josh and Al, Investing and Trading Live. We'll be right back.